Once hailed as the mightiest hero who saved the world, he now lived as the weakest member of the demonic clan. Gifted with a rare power and the extraordinary chance to be reborn twice, he had the strength to rise again, but chose instead a quiet, powerless existence. That is, until the day everything changed. Before his very eyes, the woman he secretly loved, the fierce and noble leader of their clan, was betrayed and slain by her own husband. In that moment, he made a choice. He would die by her side. But before the darkness took him, he asked her one final question. If we had another life, how could I win your heart? She gave him her answer. And with it, he made a vow. In his next life, he would rise, not as a weakling, but as a force of vengeance. He would protect her. He would destroy those who wronged her, no matter the cost. And so, our story begins. The demon sect is under siege. The Miram Union's forces, 10,000 strong, flood the mountain pass, crashing through outer defenses like waves. Soldiers fight and fall, trying desperately to hold the line. Young runs through the chaos, heading straight for the inner palace. His breath is ragged, sweat clinging to his brow. 10,000 fighters, and still pushing forward, he mutters. A voice calls out behind him. Young. It's Sandojin, surprised to see him out in the open. He rushes over, his expression sharp with concern. What are you doing out here alone? It's not safe. Come with me. I'm going to the leader's palace, Young replies. She stayed behind. Ordered everyone else to run. Sandojin's face darkens. The defensive line won't hold much longer. 30 minutes at best. If you stay, you die. But Young insists that he'll return, though he first needs to understand what's on the leader's mind. Sandojan realizes he cannot stop him, so he dashes off, leaving him behind. He takes a deep breath and mutters that his life has been utterly miserable. Upon reaching the leader's palace, he calls out to see if she's still inside. No answer. He pounds his fist against the heavy wood. It's me. Young. I'm coming in. Finally, her voice drifts through, faint but firm. Enter. His eyes widen. He hadn't expected a reply. He grips the door and heaves it open, wincing at the effort. They really left this unguarded. Once inside, he catches his breath and the leader, her body clearly weakened, tells him that his combat skills are still below those of a third-level fighter. Still panting, he replies that he's just relieved no one else saw him struggling so much to open the door. She confirms this with a slight nod, adding that if any of the elders had heard him speak to her that way, he would have been in serious trouble, implying she'd heard every word. He bows before her in respect. So she had heard. All of it. Yura studies him with tired eyes. Why are you here, runt? Why are you still here? He shoots back, a little too harshly. She exhales. The poison. I can't move far. His fists clench. Han Mobik. It was him, wasn't it? She nods. My husband. Chosen with my own hands. He said, he suffered to win me. That I should taste what he endured. Young presses his hand to his mouth to muffle the scream building in his throat. His rage trembles beneath his skin. She watches him, amused. You're a strange one. No time for jokes, he says, voice tight. You were always so serious. Strict. And now, here at the end, you laugh. Even poison can't kill a bitter tongue, she says. Can you recover? She shakes her head. The toxin reached my core. Any other, I could handle. But this one, this was made just for me. He steps forward. If there was a chance. She cuts him off sharply. Say if one more time and I'll tear out your tongue. He straightens, swallowing hard. If you could live again, what would you do? She freezes. Why do you ask that? You know I've said this before, he smiles faintly. In another life. I saved the world. She responded with disbelief, saying she couldn't imagine someone like him saving the world. He told her she just needed to pretend it was true and repeated his question. What would she do if there were still a chance? She asked why he was so insistent on giving her hope, saying that if such a chance truly existed, he should already be busy trying to seize it. He steps closer. I hate betrayal. Always have. This is how I repay what you gave me. She frowns. What did I give you? He grins. Don't think too hard. He remembered clearly. Their first meeting had been during the time he was once considered a potential suitor for her hand in marriage. Jura returned his gaze with a faint smile, a flicker of hope lighting up her features, and asked him what he would do if she truly came back. He responded calmly, saying that even if she didn't remember any of this, he now knew all the traitors who had wormed their way into the sect, and he was aware of the Miram Union's bold attack. With unwavering resolve, he declared that he would devote every ounce of his strength to wiping them all out, without mercy. Then he gently asked if she had a final wish. He promised to remember it and do everything he could to see it fulfilled. But her answer caught him completely off guard. She told him she wanted him to try seducing her. Yu Myung was speechless. He admitted he was confident in his ability to stop Han Mobik from taking control of the demon sect. But becoming her husband? That, he wasn't so sure about. He added that he knew she didn't love him. She had told him before, romance only worked when both hearts wanted it. And with them, such a connection was impossible. He reminded her that when she took the reins of the demon sect, no one could stand against her. Every suitor had been crushed under her indifference or disdain. Han Mobik only rose to power because he was the sole man who could endure her temperament. Jura replied that he didn't need to do anything he wasn't willing to, but Yu Myung shook his head. He never said her request was impossible. He stepped closer to her, and for a moment, she looked flustered by his nearness. He told her that sometimes, love begins with one person caring for another who doesn't yet feel the same. And since the request had come from her, he said, smiling, it wouldn't be hard for him at all. Yura's cheeks turned a deep shade of red, her embarrassment impossible to hide. Yu Myung studied her closely and said she was truly beautiful. Then softly, he asked her for one thing, a promise. If he had ever spoken ill of her, he wanted her forgiveness. Kneeling before her, he took her hands and asked her to share any weaknesses she had so that he could use that knowledge when he returned to the past. But she scowled at him, clearly irritated. She warned him that if even a whisper of their conversation leaked, she would ensure he paid dearly. She added that she would only say this once, and he had better listen well. After she revealed her vulnerabilities, Yu Myung couldn't help but laugh. She must have been something else back then, he said, amused. Annoyed, Yura snapped at him to be quiet. She called his name with sharp finality and declared their conversation over. The intruders had already reached her palace. She offered him a peaceful death if that was what he wanted. But he refused. With a calm smile, he said he wished to see it all through to the very end. Just then, Guan Haiyan, the leader of the Miram Union, stepped forward. His eyes scanned the fallen stronghold, and he said with a heavy voice, "Never did I imagine I'd live to witness the fall of the demon sect with my own eyes." Yu Myung turned toward him, his gaze sharp. "And yet you arrive, with a traitor by your side." Guan Haiyan chuckled, unfazed. "I'm well aware." He gestured to Han Mobik and declared, "Behold, the sacred heavenly dragon. He has endured disgrace for the sake of Jeonju." Yu Myung threw his head back and laughed, his voice echoing across the battlefield. That grand title, wasted on a Miram lapdog. He sneered, stepping closer. "You've all come to pay for your sins." Yura, still drenched in sweat and blood, smiled bitterly. "My beloved husband finally returns to me," she said, voice dripping with mockery. Han Mobik's expression was solemn. "Everything I've done was for Jeonju." But Yura's eyes turned icy. "No," she said, her voice low and cold. "It was for that society that dares to defy the heavens." A stunned silence fell. Even Yu Myung had never heard of such a thing. Panic sparked in Han Mobik's eyes. He turned to the soldiers. "Don't listen to her," he cried. "This witch only wants to spread lies in her final moments." The Miram soldiers nodded in agreement. "Don't trust a demon's tongue. She'll say anything to live." Then Han Mobik raised his sword. "There's no need for duels. We end her now, together." But Yura stood tall, eyes blazing. "Even poisoned," she spat, "I don't need help to deal with the likes of you." Guan Haiyan scoffed. Such confidence from a dying woman. But in the next instant, a tremendous surge of energy exploded from Yura's body, shaking the earth beneath their feet. Despite the venom coursing through her veins, her power still burned bright. The soldiers froze in disbelief. Attack! Guan Haiyan shouted, sensing the danger. And so the battle erupted, Yura, last of the demon sect, versus the might of the Murim Union. The clash was fierce. And in the chaos, Yu Miyang blacked out. When he opened his eyes again, the battlefield was quiet. Yura was standing beside him, battered and broken, her voice trembling. I feared. I'd lost you. He sat up, shaking, and saw how grave her condition was. I'm glad. She whispered, I lived long enough to say goodbye. She told him the Murim had retreated. She had activated her forbidden self-destruction technique. When she looked at him, tears were already falling from his eyes. Why do you cry? She asked softly. I'm overwhelmed with sorrow, he replied. Despite her wounds, sword still piercing her, she stepped closer. Then will you finally keep your promise? She asked. Will you try to win me instead of Han Mobik? Still weeping, Yu Miyang nodded. No matter the cost. I swear it. Yura smiled, faint and fleeting. I'm glad to hear that, she whispered. Then her body gave out. She collapsed into his arms as he screamed her name, sobbing uncontrollably. That, Yu Miyang said, was the end of his first life. Not a bad life, in the end. He had saved humanity. They called him the Guardian of Earth. And the ruler had granted him 3 privileges. Among them, the chance to live 2 more lives. He had intended to enjoy peace. But after everything, he made a different choice. His second life would be for Yura. When he awoke, he found his servant, Zhou Qil, standing in front of him with a tray of food. He was stunned. One look at Zhou Qil's youthful face, and he realized he had gone back in time many years into the past. He watched as Zhou Qil placed large amounts of food on the table, and at that moment he heard a voice in his head. It told him that he now clearly remembered the exact point in time he had returned to. He was 17 again, just before he would head to the demon sex tower. But fear took hold of him when he saw his father standing before him because his father was furious at his behavior, including drinking, even though he hadn't yet reached the age of initiation. His father struck him hard, dragged him back home, and held up the liquor bottle, yelling that he couldn't believe the eldest son of the Yan family couldn't even resist alcohol. His father's name was Jin Zhon, head of the family, and he looked at Yu Miyang with clear disappointment, calling him a pitiful boy. Yu Miyang quickly moved toward him, trying to explain what had happened. But his father ordered him to be silent, saying he didn't want to hear a word from someone so weak. He added that if someone chose to be weak, they should at least be clever. Then he asked if Yu Miyang understood why he had personally come to bring him back home. Yu Miyang remembered this moment from his previous life. Back then he hadn't answered, and the price was a brutal beating. This time, he chose differently. It's because of the upcoming meeting with the new demon sect leader, he said carefully. That meeting, Yura, just 17 at the time, would face the 6 heirs of the major demonic energy clans. A defining moment. In his last life, none of those heirs were chosen. Instead, Yura shocked everyone by choosing the traitor, Han Mobik. This time, Yu Miyang swore under his breath, that would not happen again. His father's expression didn't change, but his voice softened just slightly. The only reason I've tolerated your uselessness until now is because of this moment. Yu Miyang knew it was true. Jin Zhon had never been a nurturing father. He was a strategist who saw his own son as a tool for the clan's legacy. Then came the real challenge. Can you win her heart before the others? Without hesitation, Yu Miyang met his father's gaze. The other heirs won't stand a chance. That earned him a rare, satisfied smile. Then stop embarrassing me. Start training. Learn martial arts. With that, Jin Zhon turned and left. As he leaves, Yu Miyang exhaled deeply. Of all people, I never thought my father would be the first face I'd see after returning. But deep inside, he was thrilled. This wasn't just 10 years into the past, it was 20. 20 full years to shape the future, to rewrite everything. He remembered Yura's final words about a society that defies the heavens. That group had to still exist in this timeline, and he would find them. Crush them. For Yura. Just then, Jochen stepped in, watching him curiously. So what now? What do you mean? Yu Miyang replied, half distracted by his thoughts. Jochen smirked. You just boldly told your father you become the future husband of the demon sect leader. Yu Myung blinked. What? When did I say that? You basically said it, Jo Chun insisted. I said the other heirs would be rejected. That's not the same thing, Yu Myung corrected. Jo Chun raised an eyebrow. Isn't it? No. It's not, Yu Myung said firmly. At this stage, Yura's untouchable. She's obsessed with martial arts. She wouldn't even glance at someone weaker than her. Before Jo Chun could respond, a new voice cut in. I didn't expect you to still be here. Yu Myung turned to face a young man approaching with a familiar air of arrogance. It took him a moment, but then it clicked. Ma Kiol, second son of the Blood Dragon clan. He came to a halt, irritation already in his voice. Tell me, Yu Myung, do you see any resemblance between me and someone else? Yu Myung blinked, confused. What are you so excited for? Did you come here without Young Hee? Ma Kiol's face twisted in annoyance. I don't have a younger sister named Young Hee. He stepped closer. I'm here to challenge you to a duel. Yu Myung was stunned. This never happened before. He wondered, was this ripple in time because his father hadn't punished him the same way? Was this the first of many changes? He took a breath and replied calmly, Interclan duels are forbidden. Not this time, Ma Kiol shot back. What kind of exception are you talking about? Yu Myung's mind raced. Unless it was about clan survival or an official blood challenge, there was only one thing that could override protocol, the demon sect's main clan, Chaeyeon. Is this about the sect leader's engagement ceremony? Yu Myung asked. Ma Kiol nodded. If I lose, I'll withdraw my brother's name from the competition. Yu Myung narrowed his eyes. So that was it. Ma Kiol's younger brother was also a contender. With a smirk, Yu Myung responded, So your brother is that weak, huh? Needs you to eliminate the competition just to have a shot. Ma Kiol's face burned with fury. If you liked this, then you have to check out this manhwa. A billionaire gets summoned to another world. Sounds basic, right? But nah, he flips the whole script. Instead of just surviving, he forms powerful alliances, builds his own kingdom from the ground up, and yeah, he seduces a whole bunch of powerful women who end up helping him on his rise to the top. It's got action, strategy, fantasy, and a ton of must-watch moments. Highly recommend it if you're into badass world building and overpowered MCs doing whatever it takes.